Hey, this is Dave Intner with Fairmount Memorial Association. I'm here with Tommy Williams from Operation Healthy Family, OHF. Here to tell us about what he does and the program, and just go from there. So, welcome, Tommy. Appreciate you being here, and just maybe start with telling us about yourself and who you are.
Well, I'm originally from Chicago, and living out here for over 20 years. Played football at Eastern. Go Eagles.
That's right.
And pretty much stayed. I have a wife, 6 boys. My wife and I co-founded Operation Healthy Family in 2010, but we got our affiliation as far as with the Fed, with taxes and all that from the IRS was 2012.
Okay.
So at that time, I was a social worker working for Child Protective Services, and I saw a lot of things happening to youth, and I've always worked with kids. My goal, I played football professionally in Canada, in Canadian Football League, and I said, well, when I go pro, I'm gonna start on a foundation, and I'm gonna work with kids, and broke my ankle, and back to reality. So I saw that was gonna happen in a different way. So when I was a social worker, I saw kids on my caseload that wasn't normal kids, if you will, that live in a family unit, can play on a team and participate in sports, extracurricular activities, and they couldn't do that. So I started an after-school football program for at-risk youth at 2 elementary schools, and Grant Elementary and Sheridan Elementary, and so from there, I really wanted to make sure we can see how we can help youth be able to find a way to find a healthy outlet, as opposed to getting in trouble in school and being suspended. And majority of these kids were kids of color, Black kids, who were being looked at as being a discipline issue, when really they just needed an activity to participate in. Right. So that was the start of it. And my wife said, well, you know what, they need to have mouth guards. And my wife is involved in dental field, and we have a Brush for the Future and dental programs as well. But she said they need to have mouth guards. That's not right. They can't play football without mouth guards. I said, well, come in and talk to them. So she talked to the students, the kids, about wearing mouth guards, and she said, well, wow, some of them are not. I can tell they're not even brushing. They need to learn how to brush. So OHF is basically going off of our passions and how we can help the community. And from that point, we have grown to where we are today. A lot has happened.
So why was this so important to you to start? Well,
my faith. I'm a firm believer, and God is definitely everything to me and my family. I was raised that way, and I was at a point in my life, being a social worker, that I loved the job, but I didn't like the work, if you will, of working, seeing the abuse and neglect. So I prayed, and I was like, Lord, I can't quit this job because I have a young family. I need an outlet. So he said, well, he gave me a vision, start this program. And he literally showed me that we were going to have multiple sports and multiple programs, and we're going to be in this building. And mind you, at this time in 2011, I was like, there's no way. I'm like, but I just stayed focused on that little program. And my wife, same thing. She's a believer, and she knew God had a plan for her, and her passion was in dental, and she loves working with people who are and marginalized in society, and who are immigrants or poor, low income, whatever it is. They don't have good dental outlets or dental homes, if you will. So she wants to work with that population. So we both just mended that together with the ministry focus, and that's what Operation Healthy Family is.
Gotcha. So I've got to know you over the last year or so, watched you coach and coached against you a little bit, and have seen, what you've done with a lot of these different teams and programs. What do you think the kids get out of it? And do you have any success stories or things you'd like to share?
Wow, multiple success stories. We don't have tryouts. So our program was the Ballers Youth Sports Club, and that was a vision off of like the YMCA or Boys and Girls Club, if you will, but more focused on teaching you the right way to play a sport, but then also how can that sport motivate you to change your community by serving. And so we have core values in our Ballers program, and that's faith, honesty, respect, sportsmanship, leadership, and fun. So with that, a lot of our kids, we don't have tryouts. That's another reason why we sometimes get blown out by 20, 30 points, is because we don't try out. We believe all kids should have an opportunity to participate
Mhm.
and have coaches who know that you're not going to have the best player, but they have a big heart, and they may have a parent or a structure that's not normal for them, and
Sure.
they may be coming from not having shoes or what have you. We had a kid in our program who couldn't afford to play, and I said, well, he was hanging out. We were Hilliard Baptist Church was one of our places that we practiced.
Mhm.
So he was standing outside the door every day after our practice, and I'm like, dude, where you want to play? Yeah, I want to play. I said, well, come on into the practice. I said, go home and tell your mom you're going to be here. So he ran home, drug his mom out the house. They came almost midway through practice, and she said, my son said he can play. And I said, yeah, he can play. What grade is he? I think he was 4th or 5th grade, and I had a 4th and a 5th.
Sure.
So, long story short, he started coming to practice, couldn't afford shoes. One of the coaches said, hey, coach, I'm going to get him some shoes. So we bought him shoes, because that's what we do. It's a village, raising these kids. So he's still playing now. Grades improved. I mean, things I know works, like it worked for me.
Sure.
My dad was my coach, and he used the football as a carrot. He said, if you want to play, then you better have a 3.0 GPA. And did I make a 3.0? No, but he knew where I was academically, and he wanted to make sure I just didn't settle for 2.0.
Effort.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's what I instill upon my players. So I think all of the kids we work with, I know now we need to have a facility because it's growing so much, and that's why when the Lord told me in 2011. Now in 2020, I'm like, oh, that's what he was, because we literally need it now. So now it's a point to where it's leading people like you and this organization, the association, to help us with this.
Well, one thing I've noticed, just side note from playing, coaching against you, your team, they always play hard. They always give great effort, and I've noticed, especially your sons, when somebody gets knocked to the ground, the first ones to come over with a smile, pick them up, and that's huge, and you don't see that very often. No. So I commend you for that. I can see that and how you teach those kids. So. So you mentioned facility. You're in need of a facility for the group. So
yes.
Maybe talk through that a little bit.
Well, I'll talk about what's going in the facility.
Okay.
Because from what we saw throughout the years and witnessed throughout the years is that we have a population of people in Spokane that aren't getting served that we feel they should get served. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is, say for instance, the YMCA, great organization. We partner with them a lot. And they don't really work with youth in a way to where if they want to go to college to play basketball, right? They don't have a pathway to get there as an organization because that's not their field, if you will, right? So we see that in a lot of programs that we have. So the Ballers program will be there. We have 12 teams in our club, up to 12 teams, boys and girls. So the past 4 or 5 years, I've been juggling gyms from Spokane Schools and Hilliard Baptist and the Hub and just trying to figure it out, and parents look at me like, wait a minute, I thought we were here. I'm like, sorry, they bumped us. We got to go to this gym. So we have to be in one-to-one roof. So that's the Ballers program. Our dental program has grown to a point that we partnered with Dr. Hone, who is our dental advisor, and he has a dental practice on the South Hill, and he is a private practice, and now we are doing Medicaid, Medicare, underinsured through a program or a clinic that we call the Good News Clinic. And so the Good News Clinic will be there as well. Dr. Hone will have his hygienist come in twice a week to work with people within the clinic, within our facility. Another thing is our daycare. So we partner with Parkview Daycare. Well, we do. And this is the thing so when I was saying all of this in the beginning in 2011, I said, this is what we're going to do. Yeah. People looked at me like, there's no way, you're doing too much. Yeah. I said, okay. I just focused on what my passion was, and stuff started coming to us. About 2 years ago, Parkview Daycare, which is across the street from Northtown Mall, they have a daycare there, and they want to grow. And one of the owners there is an African-American man by the name of Luke Jasmine. Luke said, Tommy, we really want to work with you, and we like what you're doing with kids, and we have an after-school program within our building and the Emmanuel Center that we're out of now. He said, you know what? With what you're doing with the after-school program, are you guys licensed with that? And I said, no, we're not a daycare. It's just a drop-in center. So he said, well, maybe you should look at getting your daycare license because you're already doing the work. Sure. And I didn't even think about it that way. So we're meeting now to whereas he would be leasing space within that building to run the daycare because they need more space. Sure. So this facility now is to a point where as we know that the need is there. Another program is job training for youth, because if they don't know how to work like my sons,
Right.
you got to get up, you learn, cut grass, right? You can be an entrepreneur and be a servant leader through helping the community. But we need a building to do these programs out of. And it's to a point now that we have the support, we have the programs, we have the people involved, but now we need the capital.
Sure.
And so this is kind of where we are right now.
Okay, so then follow up to that is ultimately like, what does this mean for the community of Spokane? I mean, the program, and then also how can people help?
Well, with what's going on right now with Black Lives Matter, and me having 6 African American boys and who biracial boys who are Black and white, Black and Native, and so there are a lot of people in Spokane a lot of kids in Spokane, they don't have a place that they can go to that they can connect with. They can go to a building that has caring adults, but don't have a building of caring adults that look like them. And this is not a race issue, but this is just reality, right? So Operation Healthy Family and the OHF Center will be a building that is for all children. But most importantly, the kids who, I work for Spokane Public Schools, and I see kids of color who are suspended, who don't graduate, who get pregnant early, who don't then tap into their passion early. They didn't have a place to go to. So this building will be that location for them to come to, because Spokane is growing. They say Spokane is the city of, you can do anything here, right? It's so opportunistic and, Spokane nice, and there are things we need to correct in ourselves within Spokane. That is true, but there are some things that we need to look in the mirror on and be in reality, right? So we want to be able to have a location that is about equity and about diversity for all. There are a lot of great organizations in Spokane who feel the same way, but sometimes they need an outlet to be able to support how they feel.
Absolutely.
And that's what this is.
Yeah, great. Well, I applaud you in the work that you're doing. It's amazing, and glad to know you and
Thank you.
and get to coach basketball and do all that stuff. And more importantly, just listen to your story.
Oh yeah.
Means a lot to me and to our organization as well. But I'm thankful for you. And
Oh yeah.
so as far as just ways people can help OHF.
Yes, multiple ways. You can volunteer. Always start with volunteering, because I know everybody has a passion and a gift that they have. And if they love kids, they like kids. But one thing we ask all of our volunteers in our interviews is, do you like kids? And they say, yes, we love kids. Do kids like you? Is the next question.
That's a great question.
Because if you're not hitting it home with the kids, right? So that's one way is to volunteer. Another way is gifting. We have monthly, right now we're kicking off a campaign called Lifeline Donors. And our goal is to get 20 Lifeline donors within 2020 to help kickstart to build the funds to build the OHF Center. So they can be a Lifeline donor. You can be a one-time, but of course we're always looking for a monthly donor, because as you know, with having a nonprofit too and then a for-profit, but nonprofits, we focus on sponsors, donors, volunteers,
Right.
Just caring organizations that want to give to a cause that can help the community that they do business in.
Sure.
So those are the ways that you can help. And also land. I mean, I'm gonna be very specific with it. I mean, we're looking for land to help to be able to build this building, and we want to serve the Spokane community to be in an area like a Hilliard or East Side that has the population of people that I was speaking of earlier that really need to go to. You have the Martin Luther King Center, great organization, but guess what? There's a bigger need besides what the MLK Center can provide. So those are the ways that they can help support.
Okay. And website is?
Website is ohfspokane.org.
Great.
And then you can also go to our Facebook page, which is Operation Healthy Family, and then also Ballers Youth Sports Club.
Awesome. Well, I know we've talked about, getting this out there for you and helping the fundraising thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell you this part, but we do have something for you for OHF, and you can use it as how you want to use it.
Oh, wow.
So what you're doing is fantastic and makes a huge difference in our community, and I'm super proud of you, man.
Thank you. So right now we have 3,000 in the bank through Columbia Bank. Our goal is to get 25,000 by January 1. And right now with this check, we're at $8,000. I have to look at it again. I'm like, that's another zero there. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.